The day before the wedding, my fiancée, Eleanor, had the audacity to hold hands with my half-brother, Michael, right in front of me, and flaunt their love. Not only that, she openly declared that after the wedding, she would only be my wife in name. Her heart, her body, her everything, would belong solely to that illegitimate, my half-brother, Michael. She provoked me without the slightest fear because she had gotten her hands on shares of the Liu family business and would soon become the heir to the Liu family empire. But I simply sneered in response. She had no idea the bride had already been replaced with her own aunt. She had no clue that the Liu family patriarch, my grandfather, had once been brothers in arms, and he had already decreed, only the woman I choose to marry could become the rightful heir of the Liu family. All the luxury and power she and my brother were enjoying would be taken back on the day of my wedding. That year, my father, the CEO, and my mother died in a car crash. Right after that, our family went bankrupt. The shock sent my grandfather into the ICU. Before he passed, he entrusted his personal connections and me to old Master Liu, a man with whom he had shared life and death moments. From then on, old Master Liu took me into the Liu household and swore an oath. I could pick any Liu family daughter to marry. I, like a blind simp, fell hopelessly in love with Eleanor Liu, the illegitimate daughter. Although Eleanor always acted indifferent toward me, I believed that persistence would pay off. Eventually, she agreed to marry me. Our engagement party that night was grand beyond words. Nearly every prominent figure in the city attended. After chatting with a few heirs from other influential families, I realized Eleanor was nowhere to be seen, so I went upstairs to find her. As I passed her room, I heard noises that made my face burn with shame. I froze, then slowly pushed open the door and saw a scene that made my chest tighten with suffocating pain. Eleanor, bare from the waist up, was on top of a man. She moaned sweetly and wrapped her arms around Michael's neck. "Michael, I love you so much. Even if I really marry George, I won't let him touch me. You have to understand, I'm marrying him for you. As long as you can move into the Liu household, I'll be able to see you every day." The man's movements grew more intense. "I love you too, Eleanor. You've suffered so much for me." My whole body trembled uncontrollably. I couldn't believe my fiancée was hooking up with my half-brother, and today was our engagement party. I knew Eleanor didn't love me, but I always believed it was because she was naturally cold. I thought once we got married, she'd eventually fall for me. But now, I finally realized everything I insisted on was just a joke. Eleanor had loved Michael all along, an illegitimate child. The day our parents died, Michael was dropped off at our doorstep. Even though his background was shameful, the Wang family only had him and me left. I pitied him, rented him an apartment, gave him a place to live, and let him grow up carefree. Never did I imagine that one day, this brother would seduce the woman I loved most. And Eleanor had only agreed to marry me so that Michael, the bastard, could enter the Liu family with full legitimacy. I finally understood, no matter how hard I tried, Eleanor would never give me a second look. An illegitimate daughter and an illegitimate son, what a match made in hell. If that's the case, then I should step aside. I turned and left, my steps shaky, my mind blank. I didn't even know how I managed to make it downstairs. Back in the bedroom, the man saw me walking away, and the corners of his lips curled up into a sneer. His purpose for coming to the Wang family was never just about stealing Eleanor. He was here to take everything from George Wang because, in his eyes, the Wang family owed him that much. I stumbled down the stairs and ran into Eleanor's grandfather. Seeing the state I was in, old Master Liu looked concerned. "George, what's wrong? Did that girl Eleanor upset you?" I spoke slowly. "Grandpa Liu, I've thought it through. Eleanor doesn't love me, and I don't want to force her. I'm not marrying her." The old man was shocked. "Haven't you liked Eleanor for years? When I told you to pick a bride from among all the Liu daughters, you insisted on her. I even went out of my way to pour resources into an illegitimate daughter for your sake. Gave her plenty of business opportunities, and now you're saying..." Seeing the confusion on his face, I shook my head helplessly. "She's in love with someone else. Forcing it would only bring misery. Don't be upset. If she's not the one, we'll just pick another. There are plenty of girls in the Liu family. Fine, let's change the bride, but the wedding date stays the same." Old Master Liu doted on me. I could do anything I wanted. "You already have someone in mind?" Let's draw lots. My heart was dead at this point. I didn't care who I married. The old man frowned. Draw lots. Leaving your marriage to chance. Don't you think that's a bit too casual? Grandpa, anyone in the Liu family is better than Eleanor. No matter who I marry, I won't be getting the short end of the stick, right? All right, old Master Liu nodded. As long as you're happy. Determination flashed in my eyes. Then, on the day of the wedding, 7 days from now, we'll draw lots. Whoever's name is drawn, she'll be the one I marry. George, as long as you've made up your mind, I've always treated you like my own grandson. All I want is for you to be happy. I nodded. Thank you, Grandpa. I would go through with the wedding, but Eleanor would no longer be the bride. After leaving the Liu family estate, I returned to Eleanor's private villa. Whenever she wasn't staying at the main house, this was where she lived. 3 months ago, under old Master Liu's arrangement, I moved in too, hoping we could grow closer. But in all that time, I'd barely even seen Eleanor's shadow. Not long after I got back to the villa, Eleanor returned with Michael. She said the place Michael had been living caught fire, and he had nowhere else to go, so she was letting him stay here for a few days. I ignored them both and headed to the garden to feed the 2 black swans in the pond. They were mine. Since Eleanor hated pets, I had no choice but to raise the swans in the yard. While feeding them, I was thinking about how to take them with me once I left. That's when I heard a mocking voice behind me. Bro, it's so late and you're still out here feeding swans. That's some real free time you've got. My hand paused. I turned around and saw Michael. He'd already changed clothes, now wearing a set of couple's pajamas, identical to Eleanor's, loosely tied at the waist, giving off the air of a man of the house. I squinted and clearly saw the hickeys on his chest and neck, dense and glaring. You're still awake too? Yeah, just finished spending some time with Eleanor. Needed a break. Michael walked over to me, smiling. You saw it all at the engagement party today, didn't you? I frowned, my face darkening. What are you trying to say? Oh, nothing. He shrugged. Just that it seems like Eleanor doesn't really like you, and yet you're still planning to marry her. Aren't you afraid she'll never let you touch her? Looking at his innocent, insufferable expression, I was filled with regret. I never should have let my emotions get the better of me after our parents died. Never should have welcomed back this so-called brother who had nowhere else to go. I thought he was just a kind, simple kid. I had no idea how badly I'd misjudged him then. Then I won't marry her. You want her? She's yours. Michael's eyes lit up. Seriously? Even if I meant it, the Liu family would never let you marry her. Who do you think you are? Just a bastard child. I didn't want to argue with him anymore and turned to leave, but he called out. George, don't act so high and mighty. Look at this. I turned and immediately saw what was in his hand, a jade pendant. It was the one my grandfather had given me before he passed down through generations of the Wang family. Grandpa told me to give it to Eleanor on our wedding day, but I had given it to her the day I moved in, hoping it would protect her. Now it was in Michael's hands. My face turned cold. Give it back. I'd love to, really, he said mockingly, but Eleanor said it could keep me safe, so she gave it to me. Besides, he was my grandfather too, wasn't he? So it makes sense for me to have it. Oops. His hand went numb. Before I could react, he tossed the jade pendant into the pond. Michael, furious, I rushed forward, just about to jump in and retrieve it, when I heard a loud splash. Michael had fallen into the water. Help. I can't swim. Bro, please help me. Michael, Eleanor's voice rang out behind me. Before I could respond, she shoved me aside with full force. The next second, Eleanor jumped into the water and pulled Michael out. Michael, are you okay? Michael curled pitifully into Eleanor's arms. I'm fine, Eleanor. Don't blame my brother. He didn't mean to push me in. It's my fault. I accidentally lost the jade pendant you gave me this morning. That's why he told me to jump in and get it. His eyes turned red with tears. Eleanor looked up, her gaze cold as ice as she stared at me. This is what you've done? You knew Michael couldn't swim, and you still told him to jump in? Were you trying to get him killed? I was still lying on the ground. Eleanor had shoved me so hard that the skin of my palm was scraped raw. Blood welled up from the wound. Throbbing pain shot through my hand. I slowly looked up at the woman before me, my eyes filled with disappointment. Eleanor, that jade pendant was left to me by my grandfather. How could you just give it to someone else? Eleanor sneered. Michael got hurt a few days ago, so I gave it to him just like that. Besides, he's not exactly a stranger. He's part of the Wang family too. I laughed coldly. He's just a bastard. If I don't acknowledge him, he's not even worthy of the Wong name. Don't you dare, George. How could you be so cruel? Michael is your own brother. And I'm an illegitimate child, too. If you look down on bastards, then why did you want to marry me? Hey, I clenched my jaw and pushed myself off the ground despite the pain. What if I told you I don't want to marry you anymore? Just like you wished, we're calling off the engagement. Don't play games with me. That reverse psychology crap doesn't work on me. I already said I'll marry you, so I will. But aside from the ceremony, I won't give you anything else. Didn't you pick me just because I'm the most capable Lou girl, the one Grandpa would trust with the business? The most capable? I almost laughed out loud. She still didn't know all her so-called achievements came from me. Without me, Old Master Lou wouldn't have even looked at her twice. Let's see if you can still say that 7 days from now. With that, I turned and walked away without looking back. Behind me, Eleanor frowned as she watched me leave. He had refused to cancel the engagement so many times before. What changed today? Eleanor, do you think he really meant it about breaking off the engagement? Maybe I shouldn't have moved in. It's all my fault. If I weren't a bastard, I could be with you openly. After all these years, I never expected anything. I just wanted to stay by your side. If he really breaks off the engagement, I'd be thrilled, but I know him too well. He won't. He's just angry right now. Eleanor hugged him tighter. Don't worry, I promised you I won't let you down. I heard every word she said loud and clear. I chuckled bitterly and shook my head. All the love I gave over the years had all been a mistake. Back in my room, I couldn't sleep because from the next room, Eleanor's uncontrollable moans overcame me. It lasted the entire night, almost without pause. I honestly didn't know Michael was that capable, and Eleanor's desires were that strong. After all, no matter what I did or how hard I tried, she never once let me touch her. The next morning, after washing up and going downstairs, I saw Eleanor in the kitchen, wearing an apron and cooking breakfast. Michael was right beside her, peeling oranges and feeding her, wiping the sweat from her forehead with a look of affection. Seeing that scene, my chest tightened with unexpected pain. For as long as I'd lived here, I had cooked every single one of her meals by hand. Eleanor clearly knew how to cook, yet on my birthday, she didn't even bother making me a simple longevity noodle. But now, for Michael, despite her obsessive cleanliness, she was willing to cook personally. I stood frozen on the stairs, not moving for a long time, until my phone rang. Grandpa Lou. George, the wedding's coming up. There's no one left in the Wong family to prepare a dowry for you, so I'm sending you some money. Go handle it yourself. That's okay. I just want to buy a suit. Before I could finish, a notification popped up. Alipay, 100 million yuan received. I was stunned. I didn't expect Grandpa Lou to be this generous. Thank you, Grandpa. After ending the call, I got ready to head out. Bro, Eleanor made breakfast. Want to join us? Michael smiled as he invited me. Eleanor said coldly, if you want to eat, come sit. I ignored them both and walked out the door. I arrived at a suit shop, hoping to pick out something appropriate. Just as I found one I liked, I ran into Eleanor, Michael, and several of her cousins. The moment Eleanor saw me in the shop, her expression darkened. What are you doing here? Before I could answer, her cousins started chiming in. Eleanor, didn't you say George canceled the engagement? So why is he still picking out a wedding suit? You actually believed what George said? He's been simpering for Miss Lou for years. Now that he's finally getting to marry her, there's no way he'd back out. Maybe he knew you were coming here with Michael for a wedding photo shoot, so he followed you to crash it. Only then did I realize Eleanor was here to take wedding photos with Michael. Hey, I nearly laughed out loud. Back when we were 1 month from the wedding, I had begged Eleanor to take wedding photos with me. She refused, mocked me, even said if I wanted wedding pictures that badly, I could just get someone to Photoshop her in, that in her entire life she would never take photos with me. Now, here she was doing exactly that with Michael. Bro, don't get the wrong idea. Michael grabbed my hand, trying to explain. I've just never had wedding photos taken before. Eleanor said she wanted to do one set with me, just as a keepsake. I swear I won't ruin your wedding. He sounded pitiful. Eleanor, on the other hand, directly wrapped her arm around his. No need to beg him. I already promised you. In this lifetime, I'll only take wedding photos with you. Even if I really marry him, I won't take a single picture with him. Her words stabbed into my heart like a knife. It should have hurt, but instead, I just looked down and laughed. What you two photograph has nothing to do with me. I turned to the store clerk. I'll take this suit. Please pack it up. Eleanor, what if I like this suit too? Michael chimed in without a second thought. Eleanor pulled out a card and handed it to the clerk. Charge it. Eleanor, I saw this suit first. I frowned, my face darkening. Why did Michael have to compete with me over everything I liked? First it was Eleanor, now even a damn suit. George, are you doing this just to piss Michael off? I already told you I'll marry you. Michael just wanted one set of wedding photos. Isn't that enough? He can take all the damn pictures he wants. Eleanor, let me say it. I will not marry you. Really? Michael looked stunned. I sneered. Yes, I'll step aside and bless you too. A bastard and a bastard. Truly a match made in heaven. You? Shut your mouth. Eleanor raised her hand, about to slap me. My gaze turned cold as I stared her down. Go ahead. If you've got the guts, hit me. I don't want to hit you, but you've gone too far. Today, leave now, or I will hit you. Fine. If you miss your chance today, you'll never get another. I just hope you won't regret it. With that, I turned and walked away. Everyone in the shop exchanged awkward glances. Was he serious? Of course not. If he was, why bother coming to pick out a wedding suit? He clearly still wants to marry Eleanor. Eleanor, maybe you should call and double-check. Eleanor frowned and pulled out her phone, calling the Liu estate. The person who answered was the Liu family's butler. Butler, is the engagement between the Liu and Wang families still proceeding as planned? Miss Eleanor, what are you saying? Of course, it's going ahead. Master Liu has already arranged everything. We're just waiting for young Master Wang to return for the wedding. Eleanor hung up the call and turned to everyone. See? He never says anything truthful. He's loved me for so many years. Now that he finally gets to marry me, like hell he'd give it up. Michael hugged her gently to comfort her. It's okay, Eleanor. Just getting to take wedding photos with you is more than enough for me. I don't care about the rest. Let's get them done quickly, before George comes back and causes more trouble. Urged on by her cousins, the two of them spent the entire day shooting wedding photos, every last one of them. I went to another store and picked out a fairly decent suit. The first thing I did after returning to the villa was pack my luggage. Once I finished packing, I saw a tweet from Eleanor and Michael. May all lovers end up together. Attached were wedding photos of Eleanor and Michael, 9 in total, 3 different outfits. What stayed the same was a malicious smile and the look in her eyes when she gazed at Michael. After all these years, I had never seen that expression on her face. I didn't care anymore. I silently liked the post, then I stashed away my suitcase and went to the sales office. Since I was moving out of the villa, it was time to find a new place to serve as my wedding home. Mom once said she wanted to witness me starting a family. Even though the Wang family no longer existed, if I was going to get married, I had to buy a home. I set my eyes on a fully furnished apartment with a garden. There was a pond in the garden, suitable for raising those 2 black swans. I swiped my card and bought the apartment. Then I went to the mall and bought some furniture to decorate the wedding home. I spent the entire night decorating it all by myself until it was finally complete. Once I was done, I took out my mother's memorial photo and placed it on a cabinet. Mom, don't worry about me. I will definitely be happy. The next morning, I returned to the villa. Luckily, Eleanor and Michael weren't there. I went into the yard and had someone take the 2 swans away. Then I told the staff to drain the pond. Didn't you ask for this pond to be built? You even said that one swan represents you and the other represents Miss Eleanor. Drain it. I replied indifferently. I dropped my jade pendant in there, and I can't find it. The pump worked for 5 hours before it drained the small pond completely. I found the jade pendant my grandfather gave me, wiped it clean, then left with my suitcase. Seeing that I was about to leave, a servant panicked. Mr. Wang, where are you going? Your wedding with Miss Eleanor is just a few days away. Why are you leaving all of a sudden? I'm not marrying Eleanor. With that, I left without looking back. I went to the apartment I bought. Looking at the fully decorated wedding home, my heart felt empty. Just as I was about to go to the supermarket to stock the fridge, someone rang the doorbell frantically. I opened the door to see a gloomy-faced Eleanor, Michael, and her group of girlfriends behind her. I frowned. Why are you here, Eleanor? We were right. He really did secretly buy a wedding home, planning to bring you here to live. And look how he decorated the place. Saying he wouldn't marry you was clearly a lie. Maybe he disappeared on purpose these past few days. wanting to surprise you on the wedding day by bringing you here. Eleanor's friends looked at me with disdain and spoke without holding back. Exactly. Miss Lou doesn't even like you. Marrying you is already doing you a huge favor. And now you want her to live in this dump? You're asking for too much. I had indeed considered it. With the Wong family estate gone, I had nowhere to stay. If I wanted to marry Eleanor, I had to find a place to serve as our wedding home and bring her to stay there for a few days. But now, I just wanted to decorate a wedding home for my late mother to see. Eleanor scanned the room with a cold, knife-like gaze. Didn't I say no decorating? I told you not to decorate the house. So you secretly moved out and did it anyway. Bro, you didn't have to go this far. Michael's eyes turned red. I thought you genuinely wanted to let me and her be happy. Turns out you were lying. Their shouting gave me a headache. Get out. This is my home. Eleanor grabbed my wrist. George, are you disgusting or what? Why did you decorate all this? You think I'd actually live here with you? I told you, after the wedding, I'm not living anywhere else. Only the old estate or the villa. Let go. I threw her hand off with force, nearly exploding with rage. Eleanor, you're not even qualified to move in here because the person I'm going to marry isn't you. Still lying? You think I won't smash this place right now? I panicked. No, Eleanor, don't you dare. Eleanor sneered. Why wouldn't I dare? You bought this house using my card, so it's mine. I can do whatever I want with it. I didn't use your card. I bought this place with my own money. Do you even have money? Eleanor glared at me. The Wong family went bankrupt long ago. You're the only one left. Where did you get the money to buy a house? Even if you do have money, it must have come from the Liu family. Exactly. Eleanor's girlfriends chimed in one after another, while Michael cried even louder. Eleanor, stop pressuring my brother. He just wanted to give you a grand wedding. That's all. Before he could finish, Eleanor took a deep breath and said coldly, Fine, I won't smash anything. But George, get the hell out. My patience with you is gone. This is my house. I didn't use your card. Throw his luggage out. Eleanor didn't believe me. As soon as she gave the order, her friends and the bodyguards waiting outside started tossing my bags out. Watching the room I had just carefully decorated being ruined piece by piece, I broke down. Eleanor, stop it right now, or I'm calling the police. The police? Let's see if they even dare touch me. She was right. The Liu family's influence was massive. Even if the police came, they might not dare interfere. I stood there and watched everything I owned get thrown out. Whatever feelings I had left for Eleanor were completely gone. And this too. Michael picked up my mother's photo and smashed it hard against the wall. Watching my mother's memorial photo shatter on the floor, my eyes turned bloodshot. I lunged and grabbed Michael by the throat. Who gave you permission to touch my mother's photo? Cough. You're insane. Eleanor, help me. Michael struggled to breathe and called out to Eleanor for help. Eleanor shoved me away without hesitation. George, let him go, or I swear I'll kill you. My head slammed into the wall, and blood ran down my forehead. I looked into her eyes that wished me dead, and curled my lips into a cold smile. You better keep that bastard in check, or I'll kill him myself. I've never seen someone so heartless. She shielded Michael and warned me. George, as long as you don't touch Michael again, I'll give you the title you deserve. You can be my husband. But whatever happens between me and Michael is none of your business. Kill your delusions, because if you don't, our friendship of over a decade will mean absolutely nothing. Her friends slammed the door shut, took the keys from me, and stormed out together. As they left, Michael turned around and smiled smugly at me. I knelt at the door, weakly picking up my mother's shattered photo. Mom, I'm sorry. My life is a mess, but don't worry. I swear I'll grow stronger. I gathered my scattered luggage and left the apartment building. It had started to drizzle. I watched the crowd rushing by and thought of calling Grandpa Liu, but after several unanswered calls to the Liu family, I gave up. Left with no choice, I sat by the roadside the entire night. It wasn't until nightfall that I decided to find a hotel to stay in. I had barely taken a few steps when a few thugs appeared. They came out of an alley and lit up the moment they saw me. Well, look who we've got here, someone with money. The leader glanced at my clothes and suitcase, visibly excited. Just lost some cash tonight. Time to collect a toll. Hey, punk, hand over your money, or don't blame me for what happens next. The man pulled out a knife and stepped toward me. I didn't dare hesitate. I threw my suitcase aside, clutched my mother's photo, and bolted forward. Today had already been bad enough. Why did it have to get even worse? Son of a bitch. He's running. Go after him. The man's roar echoed behind me as I sprinted through the heavy rain. A car suddenly came speeding out. Screech. The sound of tires braking pierced the air. I was violently hit and thrown to the ground. What's going on? Inside a black Maybach, a woman with an almost otherworldly beauty sat in the back seat, flipping through a magazine with an expressionless face. She didn't even lift her head. The driver spoke nervously. Miss, I think we just hit someone. Go see if he's dead. The driver opened an umbrella and quickly got out of the car. Through the pouring rain, he saw me lying on the ground. I was curled up right beneath the car's wheels. If the car had moved even an inch further, the consequences would have been unimaginable. Sir, are you all right? The driver bent down and examined me closely. I was soaked to the bone, hair plastered to my pale face, my entire body trembling. I didn't look well at all. Robbery, someone tried to rob me. I lifted my eyes. Everything was a blur in the blinding headlights, but I used all my strength to reach out and grab the driver's pants. Please help me. I couldn't die. I still had revenge to take. I wouldn't let Michael and Eleanor get away with it. Boss, that guy's here. A deep shout came from behind, followed by several men rushing over. Another rich one. Damn, we're on a roll tonight. The noise outside grew louder, drawing Willow's attention. She looked up and glanced out the window. Through the rain, she saw a group of men surrounding someone. He was being held up like a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. She only took one glance and didn't intend to interfere, but when that man turned his face, her brows tightened sharply. She opened an umbrella and stepped out of the car. Willow walked with long, elegant strides toward the group. Miss, let him go, her cold voice sounded above me. I squinted, trying to see her face through the rain, but I just couldn't. Miss, please help me. Under the car's light, my face became clearer and clearer. Willow's hand tightened slightly around the umbrella handle. Then she spoke firmly. I said, let him go. Who the hell are you? Fine, we'll let him go. Give us money, 50 million, and he's yours. The men tried to provoke her. In a flash, one of Willow's bodyguards spun around and slammed him into the wet pavement. Seeing how capable her bodyguards were, the rest of the thugs froze in shock. Get him, all of you. One by one, they went down. In no time, the bodyguards took care of them with zero effort. The leader, seeing this, immediately let go of me and fled in panic. George, wake up. Willow bent down and had someone carry me into the car. After all these years, he had grown a lot. She noticed his tightly shut eyes, trembling lashes, and burning hot skin. He was clearly running a fever. Thank you. Looking at the men in front of her, Willow frowned. She felt something long dormant inside her chest begin to stir. The driver recognized me too. Oh, isn't that the young master from the Wong family? The one who was supposed to draw lots to decide who to marry. I remember the old master saying he wanted to pick a few Liu family daughters of the same generation for him to draw from. Willow raised her brows slightly. That Eleanor girl didn't like him, I heard. That's true. Apparently, she fell for his half-brother, the illegitimate son from the Wong family. Hey, Willow sneered. My brother's illegitimate daughter really has unique taste. The one who chased her for years she didn't want. She went for a bastard instead. It didn't matter if Eleanor didn't like him. She did. If she hadn't heard about him holding a draw to choose a wife, she wouldn't have come back at all. I woke up from a nightmare. The recent string of awful events had left me completely exhausted and defeated. You're awake. A woman's unfamiliar voice rang softly beside my ear. I looked up and saw her stepping out of the bathroom. She wore a bathrobe, her damp hair falling over her chest. Her flawless features lit up the room. Her skin was pale as snow, her lips red like ripe cherries, impossible to look away. I stared at her, completely dazed. A moment later, I realized I had lost my composure and quickly averted my gaze. Looking down, I noticed that someone had already changed my clothes at some point. Miss, may I ask who you are, and how did I end up here? Don't remember me? This is the Liu family's estate. Guess who I am? You're Eleanor's little Aunt Willow. George had some vague memory of her. They were around the same age, though she belonged to an older generation by family rank. They had lived together briefly as kids, but she had been abroad for years, and they hadn't seen each other since. Not bad, your memory's decent. The woman nodded, satisfied. I heard you're ditching Eleanor. Don't like her anymore. I answered calmly. Not anymore. I'm done being a stepping stone for her and Michael. Willow raised an eyebrow. When did she get so blind? Don't be sad. You deserve better. I look forward to your wedding. She smiled, ruffling my hair, before heading back to the bathroom to get dressed and leave. Watching her back as she walked away, my heart inexplicably skipped a beat. A short while later, Grandpa Lou rushed in anxiously. George, are you all right? Why did you collapse like that? Did that Eleanor girl bully you again? I'm fine. Grandpa, can I stay at the old estate for a few days? Of course you can. Just rest well. I'll handle everything else. I stopped him. Grandpa, could you not tell Eleanor I'm staying here? All right, I won't say a word. Meanwhile, over on the other side, Michael had twisted his ankle and kept whining about the pain. Eleanor, worried, accompanied him to the hospital to keep him calm. She stayed with him for 2 days. It wasn't until the night before the wedding that Eleanor realized she hadn't heard from George in 2 whole days. When she got home and asked the staff, they said George had never returned. Eleanor, I'm sorry. If it weren't for me, your brother wouldn't have run away from home. You're getting married tomorrow. What are we going to do? No groom at the wedding is even better. Eleanor hugged Michael. Just to let you live in the Lou household openly, you've already suffered enough. It's okay. It's just George keeps trying to believe me, and I don't know what to do. Michael looked pitiful. Eleanor comforted him. Once I gain everything from the Lou family and become the one in charge, I'll divorce George. When that time comes, I won't care what Grandpa says. I believe you. I'll wait for you. Michael leaned in and kissed Eleanor. Eleanor couldn't resist and kissed him back. Back at the old estate, I received a video and a message from Michael. It was a video of him and Eleanor in bed together. Bro, sorry, but your fiancée is in my bed right now. Never thought she'd be such a slut. She screams like crazy. So what do you think? On your wedding night tomorrow, will she be in your room or mine? Even if you marry her, so what? The one she truly loves is still me. George, why is it that I'm the illegitimate son who has to live in the shadows, while you're the proud young master of the Wong family? Even after the Wong family went bankrupt, Grandpa Lou still likes you better. Well, guess what? I'm going to take everything you have, including Eleanor. Reading each of those messages, George casually typed back. So you don't really love Eleanor? You just want to compete with me? Yes. I'm here to take everything from you. I want to make you suffer. I want you to regret ever going against me. The corners of my mouth lifted slightly. That's exactly what I wanted him to say. I printed out the entire chat log, preparing to give Eleanor a little surprise tomorrow. Early the next morning, Eleanor changed into her wedding dress and headed to the hotel with a group of her girlfriends. Before leaving, Michael was acting all pitiful again. She couldn't bear to leave him like that, so she let him ride in the wedding car with her. Once the car arrived at the hotel, Eleanor saw many relatives she hadn't seen in years. One after another, young ladies from prestigious families, each a recognizable name, had all shown up. Some of them had even looked down on her back in the day because of her identity as an illegitimate child. Yet now here they all were. Looking at them, Eleanor boasted to her friends, "See? All those Lou family brats who used to look down on me are here now. They know I've made it, and now they're all trying to suck up to me. Yeah, but seriously, they're way out of line. All of them dressed up like they're trying to steal my spotlight. Where's George? Why isn't he here yet?" Just as she said that, the girls who had been chatting at the entrance all brushed past her and began heading into the hotel lobby. Not a single one gave her the time of day. "Hurry up. The draw is about to start. I really hope he draws me. Then our company might be saved." Marrying such a handsome guy and getting a huge dowry. Who wouldn't want to be picked? Eleanor watched the women flooding inside, then grabbed one of them to ask, "What's going on? What draw?" The woman gave Eleanor a surprised glance. "You didn't hear? Your ex-fiancé George is inside drawing lots. Whoever he picks, that's who he's marrying." What? Eleanor couldn't believe what she was hearing. Drawing lots for marriage? Has he lost his mind? He's my fiancé. Who else could he possibly marry? What a joke. He already broke off the engagement and made it public, didn't you see? Any unmarried Lou family woman present today who's within 5 years of his age can join the draw. Except you. Your ancient history. The moment those words landed, Eleanor and all her friends froze. No way. He would never marry someone else. Eleanor didn't believe it. She stormed into the hotel lobby. As soon as she entered, she saw George already standing on stage with Grandpa Lou at his side. Welcome, everyone, to the wedding of the Wong and Liu families. The elder continued. Today's ceremony will be a bit unconventional. George has decided to choose his bride through a lottery. Any unmarried Liu family daughter here, within 5 years of George's age, is eligible. Your names have already been placed into the draw. Whoever is chosen will be today's bride. And to celebrate this wedding, I've also decided, whoever becomes George's bride today will receive 20% of Liu Corporation's shares. 20%. Hearing that, Eleanor went mad. She had spent years working hard to impress Grandpa, and she had only ever earned 5%. Now, someone could get 20% just by marrying George. No, Grandpa. What are you talking about? What draw? I'm George's bride. Why would there be a draw? She tried to rush the stage, but was stopped. I looked up at her expressionlessly from the stage. Eleanor, I already told you, our engagement is over. The woman I'm marrying today will not be you. Seeing my cold, emotionless face, Eleanor snapped. George, what game are you playing now? I'm here already. If you're not marrying me, then who? You simpered after me for 10 years. I don't believe you're actually going to marry someone else today. Shut up. You've got some nerve. This opportunity? You gave it up yourself. Since you don't want Liu family shares, someone else will take them. Grandpa Liu shouted angrily, and Eleanor finally shut her mouth. But her eyes were full of unwillingness. She didn't want to marry George, but she did want those shares. Go ahead, George, draw. Eleanor's girlfriends still weren't ready to give up. Draw it. We want to see what kind of stunt he's pulling. Bet you anything the only name in that box is Eleanor's. He's been simpering for Eleanor for 10 years. No way he'd actually marry someone else. Listening to their chatter, I didn't hesitate. I reached into the box and pulled out a bamboo stick. Everyone held their breath, waiting for the result. I looked down and caught a glimpse of the name, Willow Liu. I froze. Willow? No way. How could her name be in there? Grandpa Liu was stunned too. The draw was supposed to include only younger members. How did his own daughter end up in the box? Where is she? Don't tell me she's not coming. Eleanor let out a sigh of relief. Good, she thought. Let her stay away. Everyone turned to look around, when suddenly, the doors of the banquet hall were pushed open with force. Standing at the entrance, wearing a simple wedding dress, was Willow. So beautiful. Who is she? No idea. Talk about lucky. Wait, that name sounds familiar. As whispers spread across the room, the woman walked slowly toward the stage. The moment I saw her, my heart skipped a beat. Why is it that every time I see her, my heart races without warning? To marry Mr. Wong is my honor. Amid the envious stares of the crowd, she stepped up onto the stage. When she reached my side, even Grandpa Liu was too stunned to speak. Little aunt. I stood there awkwardly, unsure of what to say, but she took my hand naturally and smiled. What's wrong? Not happy with drawing me. Her voice was alluring and sultry, and paired with that face, I pressed my lips together, my cheeks flushing red all the way to my ears. Is this a mistake? How did you end up in the draw? I'm only a few years older than you, and I'm of marrying age. Do you mind, George? I didn't know what to say. How could I mind? Willow might already be over 30, but she was still full of charm, especially in that light wedding gown. She looked absolutely captivating, but something about it just felt off. Well, if you don't mind, then accept me. She lowered her head with a faint smile, then turned to the crowd and declared, I hereby announce, the wedding officially begins. No way. The moment her words landed, Eleanor rushed forward. George, you can't marry her. I frowned. Eleanor, haven't you caused enough of a scene? Whoever I marry today has nothing to do with you. She doesn't even qualify. She's from a different generation, and she's way older than you. She's my little Aunt Willow. You can't marry her. The guests, who didn't know Willow, instantly broke into an uproar. Oh my God, she's Eleanor's little aunt? Now I remember, she's Master Liu's youngest daughter. Eleanor's little aunt. Well, this is an aunt stealing her niece's groom drama. Watching Eleanor's panicked expression, I actually found it a little amusing. If I really married Willow, then Eleanor would have to call me uncle-in-law in the future, wouldn't she? A promise is a promise. I am getting married today. Seeing the firmness in my eyes, Eleanor clenched her fists and forced down her anger. George, are you done messing around? Haven't you embarrassed yourself enough already? If you end this circus right now and tell Grandpa you still want to marry me, I can forgive everything that happened today. I'll pretend none of it ever happened. Eleanor, weren't you the one who never wanted to marry me? I'm doing exactly what you wanted, marrying your little aunt. You should be thrilled. Why are you begging me now? Aren't you afraid Michael might get upset? At the mention of Michael, Eleanor froze. She turned her head and looked at him, and standing not far from the stage, Michael's expression was as dark as ever. At first, knowing that George wasn't marrying Eleanor today had made him genuinely happy. But Eleanor's reaction now left him deeply disappointed. She clearly still wanted to marry George, didn't she? Didn't she say she loved him? So why was she acting like this over George? Was it because of the 20% shares? The old geezer of the Liu family must be senile, giving the family shares to an outsider like George as a wedding gift instead of to his own descendants. Seeing Michael's hurt expression, Eleanor felt a pang of guilt, but she knew exactly what she wanted. She wanted the Liu family shares, and she wanted George too. She had never imagined George would actually marry someone else, let alone her own little aunt. She couldn't accept it, she wouldn't accept it. As if she had made some kind of decision, she slowly said, Michael and I are just ordinary friends. You're my fiancé. How could I possibly have anything going on with your brother? The moment she said that, Michael staggered back a few steps in disbelief. Behind him, Eleanor's girlfriends tried to comfort him. Don't be upset, Mr. Wong. Eleanor only said that for the sake of that 20% share, not because of George. Yeah, Eleanor only has you in her heart. Don't worry. Michael barely managed to steady himself. Yes, that had to be it. Eleanor only denied him because she couldn't let go of the Liu family shares. Eleanor, how did I never realize you're actually such a shameless person? I was completely done with the woman in front of me. Even now, with everything falling apart, she was still trying to cover it up. It's all about Grandpa's shares, isn't it? You never wanted to marry me. You only agreed because Grandpa valued me, and because once we got married, Michael could live in the Liu house openly. That way, you could see him every day. Eleanor, you're disgusting. No. Eleanor was stunned. How did I know all this? She had never told me any of it, and she'd never crossed any obvious line with Michael in front of me either. So how could I know? Michael and I are innocent. George, believe me. Maybe I agreed to marry you because of Grandpa, but I've never done anything to betray you. I was too tired to keep listening to her lies. I glanced at the wedding crew downstage and gave a quiet nod. Moments later, the big screen lit up and began looping a video. The sounds coming from the speakers were obscene, raw, and impossible to ignore. Everyone in the banquet hall turned their eyes to the screen, where two naked figures were clearly visible. Soon, someone gasped, Isn't that Eleanor and the guy? That's George's brother, Michael? Wow. After that, she still has the nerve to say she's innocent. She slept with her fiancé's brother? Absolutely disgusting. I heard he's an illegitimate son, and Eleanor's an illegitimate daughter too. Honestly, a perfect match. The gossip spread like wildfire. Staring at the screen, Eleanor's pupils widened with horror. How did you? Michael hadn't expected this either. He never thought George would actually expose the video he had sent as a taunt. As the disgust and mockery in the guests' eyes surrounded him, shame flooded his face. But then he remembered, if he played this right, today could still be his chance to rise. He quickly stepped forward and grabbed Eleanor's hand from behind. Eleanor, what do we do now? Eleanor had no idea what to do. She didn't even know how George had that video. George, you've gone too far. You secretly filmed me and Michael. I sneered, still trying to twist things around. Didn't you just say you and Michael were pure? Is this your definition of pure? You were in bed together, and you still have the nerve to say that. Eleanor kept shielding Michael. Even if something did happen between me and him, Michael is your brother, secretly filming us and playing that on a public screen. How could you stoop so low? Eleanor, I, George, have never done anything that despicable. Secretly film you? Huh. If I had wanted to record you, I would have done it the night we got engaged, when you and Michael were all over each other on the second floor of the Liu estate. Just recalling that scene made my entire body shake. Beside me, Willow quietly reached out and held my hand. With her comfort, I slowly calmed down. I looked up at her with gratitude. Thanks. I'm fine now. You saw everything? Eleanor let go of Michael's hand, guilt flooding her expression. She never imagined George had seen what happened that night. I took a deep breath, trying my best to calm down. I saw everything. Eleanor, there's nothing more to say between us. Take Michael and leave. Don't interfere with my wedding. But Eleanor's friends weren't having it. One by one, they stood up to speak on behalf of Eleanor and Michael. George, even if Eleanor really did betray you, you still shouldn't have secretly filmed them. Exactly. Eleanor has always liked Michael, not you. You forced her into marrying you, and now you're showing a video like this? This is clearly revenge. Secret filming is illegal. Eleanor could call the police. Her girlfriends were indignant, yet Michael's face grew darker and darker. Fine, I said coldly. Since you're so curious about where the video came from, let me show you exactly how I got it. The moment I spoke, the big screen switched again, this time showing a long series of chat logs. Message after message, all sent from Michael to me. The most explosive part, even the videos themselves, Michael had filmed them and sent them to me personally. The whole room went wild. Eleanor stared at the man beside her in shock. Michael, you. No, Eleanor, it wasn't me. It's a setup. George is framing me. Those aren't real. He had someone fake them. Michael shook his head violently, his eyes red, panicking. Please believe me, Eleanor. I didn't do it. Eleanor, there's one more message I think you should read. The screen zoomed in on a particular text from last night. In it, Michael clearly stated that getting close to Eleanor was just a move to steal everything from me, just a form of revenge. Eleanor was nothing more than a pawn. Michael. Eleanor slowly stepped back, putting distance between herself and the man in front of her. All the women who had been defending him went completely silent. This was insane. You got close to me just to get back at George? You never loved me at all, did you? No, that's not true. I swear I was just angry yesterday. I didn't want to see you marry my brother, so I lost control and sent those things. But I never lied to you. I really love you, Eleanor. Please believe me, I really do. Michael tried to approach her, wanting to explain, but Eleanor no longer believed him. Get out. Now. I don't want to see you ever again. Eleanor, please don't do this to me. I've already lost everything. You're all I have left. I said get out. Eleanor grabbed a vase nearby and smashed it at Michael's feet. Seeing how furious she was, Michael turned back and shot me a venomous glare before stomping away, completely unwilling to accept defeat. The banquet hall fell into silence. Willow looked at the mess that had just unfolded, raised an eyebrow, and said, "The farce is over. Now, if we delay any longer, we'll miss the lucky hour. Yes, it's time to end this." I pressed my lips together and gave Willow a small smile. Then, let's get married. I don't agree. Eleanor grabbed my hand, her face full of regret. I was wrong, George. I'm the one you love, aren't I? I'll cut ties with Michael. Just come back to me. Marry me. I swear I'll treat you well. I won't let you down again. Let go. I flung her hand away, emotionless. Eleanor, have some dignity. Don't make a scene. Today is my wedding with your little aunt. If you want to stay, have a drink and wish us well. If not, then leave immediately. Eleanor, you disgraceful brat. Get down this instant. Even Grandpa Lou had lost his temper. No wonder George had been so heartbroken on the day of the engagement banquet, even saying he wanted to marry someone else. Turns out this wretched girl had brought shame upon the entire Lou family today. In front of all the prominent families, the Lou family's face had been utterly dragged through the mud. Grandpa, I won't leave. I want to marry George. I was the one he picked. I'm the one he loves. How can he marry someone else? I spoke coldly. Was I not clear enough? From the moment I caught you cheating with Michael, I stopped loving you. I don't believe it. I don't believe you. You do love me. Why would you do a lottery? Why would you marry my little aunt? Eleanor went hysterical. She grabbed the lottery box from the table and smashed it violently to the floor. At the moment the bamboo slips scattered, a flicker of cold light flashed in Willow's eyes. Are you all blind? Drag her off the stage already. Willow's voice carried weight. The Lou family bodyguards didn't hesitate. They rushed forward, grabbed Eleanor's arms, and began dragging her away. Eleanor struggled in vain, but in front of Willow, she felt utterly powerless. Willow was, aside from Grandpa Lou himself, the most influential person in the entire family. Her authority even exceeded Eleanor's father's. Eleanor didn't dare resist, but as she was being dragged off the stage, her gaze fell on the bamboo slips scattered across the floor, and then she saw the truth. Every single bamboo slip bore one name only, Willow. In that instant, Eleanor felt like she'd been struck by thunder. She froze, stunned. She never imagined that her own little aunt had secretly harbored feelings for her fiancé. No wonder Willow had stayed abroad all these years, rarely returning, and now, for her, a mere illegitimate daughter, to suddenly come back just for a wedding. So it was all for George. She had planned this from the very beginning, rigging the entire draw by planting only her own name in the box. Let go of me. Grandpa, George can't marry little aunt. The draw today was rigged. It doesn't count. Even if she couldn't marry George, she definitely wouldn't let Willow have him either. If George married Willow, she'd never have another chance. Grandpa Lou snapped. Eleanor, I order you to get off that stage. How long are you planning to keep making a scene? Grandpa, I'm serious. Look at the bamboo slips. All of them have Willow's name on them. It was all fake. She cheated. She rigged the draw. It's completely unfair to the others. What? Grandpa Lou frowned and ordered someone to pick up the bamboo slips from the floor. To his surprise, Eleanor was right. Every single slip, dozens of them, was carved with only one name, Willow. He nearly choked on the spot. That damn girl. He told her for years to bring home a boyfriend, and she never listened. And now, the moment she came back, she pulled off something like this. Was this any different from blatant manipulation? She really swapped all the slips. Willow replaced every single one. That's too much. How could she do something like that? Yeah, it's not fair. This was cheating. The draw doesn't count. We demand a redo. The crowd was in complete chaos. Even I hadn't expected that the woman standing beside me would go so far as to rig the entire lottery. I looked up at her, confused. Why? I asked softly. Take a guess. She didn't look the least bit panicked. On the contrary, there was a trace of delighted mischief on her face, as though she was happy I had uncovered her secret, as if she had wanted me to find out. I don't get it. I shook my head. I really didn't understand. You're not like Eleanor, are you? Was it for Grandpa's shares? Willow rose on her toes and tapped the tip of my nose playfully. The smile on her lips was enchanting. The Lou family's petty assets? I couldn't care less. My darling groom, do you have any idea how massive your future wife's fortune is overseas? I didn't. I really didn't know much about Willow. All I remembered was that she had only returned to the Lou family a handful of times. When I first moved into the Lou household at the age of 15, I saw her once at Grandpa Lou's birthday banquet. Back then, Eleanor told me she hated her little aunt the most. She was only 18 but already acted mature beyond her years, and she was strict, even harsh toward Eleanor, which made Eleanor dislike her even more. Because of that, I was always a little afraid of Willow whenever I saw her. But thinking back now, Willow was truly captivating. I still remembered that night Willow played piano on stage for Grandpa's birthday. She wore a long, black evening gown and sat under the spotlight. Her fair, slender fingers danced across the piano keys with grace, like a real-life princess. In the years that followed, Willow returned a few more times. Then why did you do all this? Seeing the confusion in my eyes, Willow straightened her back, and her expression gradually turned serious. If I, Willow, am going to marry someone, of course it will be someone I actually like. I forgot how to breathe. I stared at her in shock. You mean you like me? Yes, I like you. I've liked you for a long time, Willow confessed without a hint of hesitation. But back then, your whole heart was tied to that useless niece of mine. So I left for abroad and never came back. Faced with such a direct confession, I didn't know how to respond. I pressed my lips together and instinctively looked toward Grandpa Lou, who stood not far away. His expression shifted from shock to calm. After all, this was his own daughter, and he knew very well this daughter of his was far more dependable than Eleanor, the illegitimate one. He had always treated George like a grandson, but having him as a son-in-law wasn't such a bad idea either. All right, he waved his hand. If we keep talking, we'll miss the lucky hour. No more discussion. This is settled. Willow and George will get married now. Grandpa, Eleanor shouted, full of fury and helplessness. George is mine. This isn't fair. The other girls won't agree to this, either. Won't agree. Grandpa Lou's gaze swept over the crowd. I'd like to see who dares disagree. Everyone immediately lowered their heads in silence. With the Lou family's highest authority figure speaking, who would dare object? Only Eleanor, foolish as ever, was still making a scene. Seeing everyone's reaction, Eleanor grew even more frustrated. Even if they stay silent, I won't agree. George, come with me. You don't love my little aunt. If you marry her, you'll never be happy. Just as her words fell, the doors burst open. One by one, men in black suits and sunglasses stepped inside, each carrying arms full of lavish gifts. Miss Liu has purchased 10 properties for Mr. Wang. Please review. Miss Liu knows Mr. Wang enjoys traveling, so she has acquired 2 yachts and a private helicopter. Please review. Miss Liu has also bought every available limited edition of designer clothing and luxury watches for Mr. Wang. Please review. Seeing the scene in front of them, all the guests at the venue looked on with envy in their eyes. I frowned slightly. Isn't this a bit too much? Willow pressed her lips into a gentle smile. My dear niece said I wasn't sincere. Well, how about now? I actually don't care about all this. I shook my head. All I ever wanted was a home. All I ever hoped for was a wife who would be loyal to me and someone who'd stay by Grandpa's side with me. That would be enough. To me, all the yachts and luxury homes didn't matter. What I longed for deep down was love. Then don't worry, Willow said, taking my hand. I'll give you all of it. She raised her eyes and looked toward Eleanor, who was already standing there in shock. So, Eleanor, anything else you want to say? What could Eleanor say at this point? There was nothing left. She couldn't compete with Willow in power, in status, or even in wealth. She had lost completely and utterly. George, I know I'm not as rich as my little aunt, but I have a sincere heart. Before she could finish, I let out a laugh. That's enough. I really don't want to see you again. Little aunt. No. Willow, can you have her taken away? I'm tired. You heard the groom. With just one command from Willow, the bodyguards didn't hesitate. They dragged Eleanor away. She kept screaming, No, don't do this to me, George. I love you. I really love you. Please help me. Little aunt, you can't do this. You can't steal your niece's fiancé. It wasn't until her voice disappeared beyond the doors that my heart finally settled. Grandpa Lou stepped forward and announced, Enough. The farce is over. Let the wedding begin. The lights lit up the stage. We stood in the center, receiving everyone's blessings. Mr. George, the officiant asked, do you take Miss Willow to be your lawfully wedded wife, to love and cherish her and never leave her side? I do. I nodded firmly. As long as she stays true to me, I will never fail her. Miss Willow, do you take Mr. George to be your lawfully wedded husband, to care for and love him and never leave his side? I do. I reached into my pocket and took out a diamond ring. The stone was massive, like a pigeon egg, and sparkled brilliantly under the stage lights. The audience was nearly in tears. Ugh, I'm so jealous. I want a diamond ring that big too. I heard Master Lu bought that ring at an auction a while ago. Originally, he planned to give it to his granddaughter as a wedding gift. Who would have thought it would end up on his own daughter's finger? Eleanor was just an illegitimate daughter. If it weren't for George, no one in the Lu family would have even looked at her. And she still wasn't satisfied. Ended up messing around with another illegitimate child. Ridiculous. Now I bet she regrets everything. No husband, no Lu family shares. She's lost it all. Outside the hall, Eleanor was tossed to the ground. She scrambled up, but by the time she reached the doors, they were already tightly shut. Hearing the voices from inside, she slammed her fists into the floor, crying in despair. George, please don't marry someone else. I'm begging you. But inside, the MC's voice rang out clearly. Groom, you may now kiss the bride. At that moment, Eleanor finally realized she had truly lost the man who once had eyes only for her. She had taken him for granted, and now she had given him away with her own hands. Her heart ached so badly she could hardly breathe. As grief overwhelmed her, someone called her name. Eleanor. She turned and saw that Michael hadn't left. He was walking toward her, tears streaming down his face. Why are you still here? She asked. I'm sorry, please forgive me. I didn't mean to hurt you. I just love you so much. Michael wrapped his arms around her waist and sobbed. It was my fault. I won't do it again, I promise. Please. I have nowhere else to go. Even George doesn't want me anymore. You can't abandon me too, I'll die. Whether you live or die has nothing to do with me. Eleanor shoved him off. I don't want to see you again, Michael. Fine then, let me give you what you want. He pulled out a hidden razor blade and, without hesitation, sliced his own wrist. Bright red blood gushed down his arm. Eleanor was horrified. Are you insane? What are you doing? She rushed forward and pressed down on his wrist, but the blood just kept pouring. You said you didn't want to see me anymore, so if I die, you'll never have to see me again. He collapsed into her arms, face pale. Eleanor, if I die, will you finally forgive me? I did all of this just because I love you. With that, he passed out. Eleanor had no choice but to rush him to the hospital. The patient shows signs of depression, the doctor warned. He must not be emotionally agitated. The consequences could be serious. Miss Liu, as his girlfriend, you should keep a close eye on him. Michael woke up just in time to hear the doctor explaining his condition to Eleanor. He glanced at his bandaged wrist and smiled faintly. Looks like this trick worked. He's not my boyfriend. Eleanor apologized. Miss Liu, the doctor left. Michael heard her say those words and felt a stab of pain in his chest. You're still mad at me, aren't you? He said, tearing up again. You promised me. You said you wouldn't let me down. Crying like this was how Michael had always painted himself as innocent in front of George. But once he'd successfully seduced Eleanor, his true nature slowly began to show. George is already married. So isn't being with me better now? He asked. Eleanor didn't have the energy to deal with him. We'll talk later. If there's nothing else, let's go home. She brought Michael back to the villa. The first thing she did was head out to the garden to check on George's black swans. But when she arrived, she was stunned to find the pond had already been drained, and the 2 black swans were gone. What's going on? Where's the water in the pond? The servant hurried over to explain. Mr. Wong drained the pond. He said he dropped his jade pendant in it and needed to find it. So Eleanor felt like her whole world was collapsing. She had been counting on those 2 black swans to bring George back. What? When did this happen? Why wasn't I told anything about it? The servant replied awkwardly. You were in the hospital during those days and didn't come back. Even when you returned, you didn't come to the garden. He really doesn't want to come back anymore. Eleanor stepped back a few paces, barely able to stand. Not far away, Michael watched everything unfold, biting his teeth in anger. It was clear Eleanor had George on her mind completely, as if he didn't even exist. No, this won't do. He had to get rid of George. As long as George was around, Michael could never find happiness. Fill the pond back up and buy 2 more black swans. I want everything restored to the way it was. Yes, miss. I'll go immediately. The servant didn't dare hesitate and ran off right away. Michael walked over and asked softly, Eleanor, have you fallen for my brother? No. Eleanor coldly responded with just one word, then headed upstairs. The second-floor bedroom that used to belong to George had already been emptied. Everything related to him had vanished. On the desk sat the birthday gifts she had given him in the past. She hadn't really wanted to give them, but every year on his birthday, her grandfather insisted she send a present, so she had gone through the motions year after year. 10 full years, 10 birthday gifts. From a simple fountain pen to a diamond watch, he had kept every single one. Looking at those gifts, Eleanor's heart suddenly ached. She had never liked George, and even resented the idea of marrying him, so why was she feeling this pain now? Was it just because of that 20% share? Eleanor. Michael had followed her again. She snapped coldly, Get out. Let me be alone for a moment. I don't care if you have money or not, Eleanor. I just want you to love me. Even without the 20% share, I'd still stay with you. Please stop thinking about my brother, okay? He pleaded, but Eleanor only pushed him out the door. I said, leave me alone. Otherwise, move out of here right now. Her tone was resolute. Michael clenched his hands at his sides and dared not say another word. After the wedding, I got into the car to go home. My new wife, Willow, was right beside me, but for some reason, I felt strangely nervous. Little Aunt, where are we going? Still calling me that. The woman turned her head and said, Just call me Willow, or if you prefer, wife. I don't mind that either. Her teasing words made me chuckle involuntarily. Willow. I lowered my head and slowly said her name. Willow smiled. Maybe wife sounds sweeter, but it's fine. Take your time. We've got a whole lifetime ahead of us, so there's no rush. MMM. I looked out at the unfamiliar scenery through the window, a deep loneliness settling in my heart. It was supposed to be the happiest day of my life, but no matter what, I just couldn't feel happy. It wasn't until the car stopped somewhere that I suddenly jumped out in shock. View, this place is... Tears welled up in my eyes almost instantly. I looked at the woman beside me in disbelief. You bought this place? The old Wong family estate, where my parents and grandfather had spent their whole lives. I thought I'd never be able to return here again in this lifetime, and yet Willow had actually bought it back. Yes, we should have a home of our own too. Willow held my hand as we walked in. Looking at the familiar furnishings inside, I was overwhelmed with emotion, unable to hold back my sobs. Everything in the house was arranged exactly as it had been before. Even the ornaments on the shelves, the folding screen in the living room, the cups on the table. Every detail had been replicated one-to-one. Willow had even hired someone to decorate the entire villa. She turned it into a wedding house, bringing warmth and festivity to what had once been a cold and lifeless place. This was exactly what my mother had always wanted to see. She had always hoped I would bring home a bride here, surrounded by joy and celebration. I covered my mouth, memories of my childhood flooding back, and looked at Willow with deep gratitude. Thank you so much. Silly, why are you crying? This is something I should do. I sniffled. But why did you buy this place? Wasn't this someone's birthday wish? How did you know? Since I was 15, my birthday wish had been the same every single year. I wanted to buy back the old Wong family estate. But I never had the money, and the people living here had no intention of selling. All I could do was wish year after year that the dream would someday come true. Willow tightened her grip on my hand. Maybe because one year on your birthday, I poked at the wish you wrote on your paper. I think you were 15 that year. Willow, thank you. I don't even know how to describe what I'm feeling right now, but I really, truly thank you. My eyes turned red. Willow gently pulled me into her arms, with heartache in her eyes. There's no need to thank me between husband and wife. Just remember, love me well, and protect me from now on. That's enough. I nodded. Out of the corner of my eye, I suddenly spotted a photo on the wall. That's when I realized Willow had even brought back my mother's memorial portrait. My mom's photo. I had someone bring it. I thought you'd want to see your mom again in your old home. I nodded vigorously. I don't know what to say. There's one more surprise. Willow led me to the garden, and to my astonishment, the 2 black swans I used to raise were there. I brought them here 2 days ago. I was worried that if you saw them looking too skinny, you'd be upset. I choked up. Why are you so good to me? Because I love you, so I'll do everything I can to make you happy. I hugged her and rested my chin on the top of her head. Don't worry, I'll give you all of my heart in return. I believe you. I'm willing to give myself to you completely. Her words stirred something deep in me. I lowered my head and looked at her. My breathing quickened. If you're nervous, we don't have to rush. I'm not scared. Willow shook her head and smiled. I'm not a child. Tonight is our wedding night. We should fulfill our duties as husband and wife. All right. I bent down, picked her up in my arms, and carried her step by step toward the bedroom. The next morning, when Willow opened her eyes, daylight had already filled the room. She shifted slightly, her whole body aching as if it had fallen apart. George had taken her several times last night. She had barely managed to hold on. She turned her head, wanting to look at the man beside her, but I had already woken up at some point and was now lying there, propped up on one elbow, watching her. You're awake. My handsome face hovered just above hers, and Willow's cheeks turned red in an instant. Good morning. Seeing her blush, I leaned down and kissed her lips dominantly. Willow hadn't expected me to want her again. Just as she was about to say something, I let her go. We still have to see Grandpa this morning, otherwise I really wouldn't want to get out of bed. My words made her blush even more. I'll go take a shower first. She tried to get up, but I wrapped my arms around her from behind. Together. Willow didn't refuse. After taking a shower, we went downstairs. Our car was already waiting outside. In less than half an hour, we had arrived at the old Liu family estate. Old Master Liu broke into a wide smile the moment he saw me return. George is back. Come, have morning tea with Grandpa. Dad, it's not morning tea you want, it's son-in-law tea, right? Willow raised an eyebrow, clearly annoyed that the old man had ignored her. You brat, you have the nerve to say that. Old Master Liu said with displeasure. You're only showing up now? I was getting anxious waiting. I quickly stepped forward to explain. I'm sorry, Grandpa. I overslept. Still calling me Grandpa? Old Master Liu feigned anger. You already took that name change gift yesterday. Dad, I'm just not used to it yet. Well, you'd better get used to it from now on. Old Master Liu sat down, and I knelt before him to serve tea. Dad, please have some tea. Good, good. Just as he took the cup and was about to drink, a servant rushed in anxiously. Sir, Miss Eleanor is here. She insists on coming in. The moment I heard Eleanor's name, my expression shifted slightly. Old Master Lu also didn't look pleased. His son-in-law T was being interrupted. What's she doing here? Tell her to get lost. She said she wants to see you. She claims that the engagement between the Lu and Wang families originally belonged to her, and she refuses to accept it. That damn girl. Old Master Lu slammed the teacup on the table in anger. Didn't I give her 5% of the company's shares last time? Take it back. And every business deal I gave her? Don't leave a single one. Reclaim them all. And since she wants to marry someone from the Wang family so badly, let her have her way. I frowned, puzzled. Grandpa, you mean? Don't you have a younger brother named Michael? Even if he's an illegitimate child, since those two are messing around together, they might as well stop sneaking around and disgracing the Lu family. Set a date and give them a proper wedding. Let them be open and above board. Otherwise, people will talk behind our backs. Willow raised an eyebrow. This move from the old man was surprisingly shrewd. George, Old Master Lu asked for my opinion. I'm going to let her in, okay? If we don't make things clear today, that girl's going to keep causing trouble. And I nodded. I don't mind. Of course you don't. Technically, Eleanor is our niece. Today, she should be offering tea to George and calling him little uncle. Willow chuckled, her smile tinged with amusement. I couldn't help but feel, what would it feel like to hear Eleanor call me little uncle? As Eleanor walked through the door, the first thing she saw was Willow sitting calmly on the sofa. Today, she looked entirely different from usual. She wore a light blue chiffon, her jet black hair pinned up with a wooden hair stick, exuding a graceful and elegant air. Every other time Eleanor had seen her, she was dressed in sharp professional outfits. This gentle, soft look, it was a first. Was it because she had married George? But the most glaring sight of all was still the way Willow and George were tightly holding hands. She couldn't believe it. It had only been a day. How had George and Willow's relationship progressed so quickly? George. She ignored everyone else and walked straight toward me, only to be stopped by the butler. Miss, shouldn't you greet the master first when you return? Grandpa. Only then did Eleanor speak. I came today because I have something to say to you. Old Master Lu shot her a glance, his tone cold. Good. I also have something to say to you. Since you're here, you should offer a cup of tea to your little aunt and little uncle. Eleanor froze, then looked up at George. Little uncle. Miss, please serve the tea, the butler said, handing her a cup. But Eleanor hesitated, unwilling to take it. George, Before she could finish, Willow interrupted. What's wrong? Our dear Miss Lu still can't accept reality? Getting the title wrong is minor, but I really don't like it when my husband is being longed for by his own niece. With those words, Eleanor's expression shifted. I'm sorry, little uncle. Please drink this tea. She knew full well how ruthless Willow could be. She didn't dare go head-to-head with her, so she had to swallow her frustration and hand the cup to me. Thank you, dear niece. I smiled faintly, and I had to admit, seeing her like this felt incredibly satisfying. After drinking that cup of tea, I felt much better. If I had known Willow would treat me so well, I would never have wasted all my devotion on Eleanor. All right, what exactly did you come here for today? Old Master Lu spoke up, but Eleanor only shook her head. Nothing anymore. She had come intending to win George back, one final attempt to salvage things. But the moment she stepped into the old estate and saw Willow, she lost all her courage. Old Master Lu took a sip of tea. Good. If you have nothing to say, then I do. Where's that little boyfriend of yours? Didn't he come with you? The butler chimed in. Sir, he's outside. Then bring him in. Michael entered, visibly uncomfortable. Earlier that morning, Eleanor hadn't wanted to bring him along, but he had threatened to kill himself if she left him behind, so she had no choice but to bring him. Now, walking into this old estate and seeing it filled with Lu family members, he felt deeply uneasy. Standing before Old Master Lu, he cautiously greeted him. Grandpa, don't call me that, Mr. Wang, the old man said sharply. Eleanor is merely the mistake my eldest son made outside this family. If it weren't for George's feelings for her, I wouldn't have recognized her as my granddaughter at all. Old Master Lu set his teacup down and looked at Eleanor with a cold, heavy tone. Since you don't love George and instead like this illegitimate child, I'll make the decision. You two will get married. No one had expected old Master Lu to say that. Eleanor's face turned pale. Grandpa, what are you talking about? Really? Michael's eyes lit up. He had always wanted to marry Eleanor. If he married her, he'd officially become the Lu family's son-in-law. Eleanor panicked. Grandpa, didn't you always disapprove of me being with Michael? You said he's just an illegitimate child. Humph, the old man sneered. And what do you think you are? You're an illegitimate child, too. Haven't you heard what people say? You two are a perfect match. His voice turned even colder. Now that I've said this much, I'll make things absolutely clear. From this day forward, the Lu family no longer acknowledges you. You're no longer my granddaughter. Your future has nothing to do with our Lu family. Grandpa, Eleanor was stunned. You're disowning me? Why? I don't understand why. I did everything you asked me to. I've built a successful business. You can't treat me like this. If it weren't for George, do you really think I would have ever acknowledged you? You've made a mess of everything. You've disgraced the Lu family's name, and you expect me to keep recognizing you? Old Master Lu took a deep breath. Someone take them to the Civil Affairs Bureau. Register their marriage immediately. No, don't, Grandpa. You can't do this to me. George, please say something for me. Please. She turned to me, pleading, but all she saw in my eyes was cold indifference. Eleanor, everything that's happening today, you brought it on yourself. You like my brother, and I've granted you that. What more do you want? No, I don't like Michael. The one I love is you. It's really you. I was stupid before. I hurt you over and over again. Please believe me. I won't do it again. Eleanor was about to keep begging, but Willow spoke up. Take them out. Make sure they register that marriage. Michael didn't know what to say anymore. He had never imagined that old Master Lu would favor George this much, so much that he'd even disown his own granddaughter just to stand up for him. Even if Eleanor was an illegitimate child, she was still a Lu family member after all. Brother, for the sake of the 10 years you loved Eleanor, I'm begging you, please speak up for her. Michael fell to his knees in front of me. I know I've wronged you before, but Eleanor and I truly love each other. Please, I'm begging you, for the sake of our brotherhood, forgive us this once, okay? Michael, I've already done everything I could for you. I raised you all these years. I fulfilled my duty as your older brother. If it weren't out of pity, I wouldn't have cared about you at all. I treated you so well, and what did you do? You stole my fiancée. From now on, we are no longer brothers. I don't want anything to do with you. I don't ever want to see you again. As soon as the words left my mouth, the two of them were dragged out by bodyguards. No, we're brothers. Bro. George. No. Little uncle. Little aunt. Grandpa. Please don't kick me out. I was wrong. I swear I was wrong. The two of them were shoved into a car, and the driver immediately headed toward the Civil Affairs Bureau. Inside the car, Eleanor took a long time to calm down. It's fine. Even if Grandpa disowns me, I still have my businesses. I still have Lu family shares. It's fine. I'll bounce back. One day Grandpa will take me back again. Just as she finished speaking, her phone rang. Hello. Miss Lu. This is to inform you that all your shares in Lu Group have been reclaimed by Old Master Lu, and all the companies you founded have been declared bankrupt. Old Master Lu hopes you'll behave from now on. Stop stirring up trouble, and never claim to be part of the Lu family again. Otherwise, you'll bear the consequences. Why? Why is Grandpa doing this to me? I'm the most capable person in the Lu family. Why would he do this to me? The person on the other end laughed coldly. You must be joking. Without young Master George supporting you from behind, your companies would have gone bankrupt long ago. As for the Lu family shares, those were given to you only because old Master Lu wanted George to have a better future. Did you really think the Lu family would accept an illegitimate daughter like you? Without George Wong, you never would have even gotten a foot in the door. The call ended abruptly. Eleanor sat frozen as if struck by lightning, unable to move. Seeing her like that, Michael felt something ominous in the air. What's wrong? Grandpa took back all the shares. He shut down all my businesses. What? Michael screamed. Then you have nothing now, right? I've lost everything. Eleanor slowly turned to the man beside her. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have lost it all in the first place. It was only now that she finally understood. All these years, George had been silently supporting her behind the scenes, and yet she had looked down on him, hurt him, betrayed him. She even got involved with his brother, an illegitimate son. How could she have ever fallen for someone like that? You're blaming me now? Michael sneered. Fine then, if you look down on me that much, forget it. I'm not marrying you. We're done. Break up. You're breaking up with me now? Eleanor snapped, grabbing him by the throat. Michael, so it's all true? George was right. You got close to me just to get back at him? You wanted what he had. You wanted his love for me. You wanted my money? You never loved me at all, did you? That's right. I only seduced you because George liked you. That's the only reason I got close to you. What? You thought you were that charming. Do you believe I'll strangle you right now? Go ahead, do it. Strangle me. The moment you do, you'll be in prison, and then you can kiss your comeback goodbye for the rest of your life. The two of them were at each other's throats, but the driver simply said calmly, Miss Eleanor, I suggest you behave. You know very well the tempers of the master and Miss Willow. If you don't register your marriage with Michael as scheduled, who knows what consequences you might face. At those words, the two of them finally quieted down. Why was Eleanor so afraid of Willow? Because she had once witnessed Willow's methods with her own eyes. Someone had merely attempted to steal company secrets and ended up tortured for days and nights. By the time they were released, they barely looked human. Eleanor didn't want that kind of fate, so she had no choice but to play along. If you don't want to die, you'll behave and marry me. Didn't you always say you wanted to? Well, congratulations, your wish is coming true. You're pathetic, Eleanor, Michael sneered. Even if he did go through with the marriage certificate, so what? He wasn't going to lose so easily. If he had known the Liu family had someone like Willow, he would have gone after her from the start, not Eleanor. But it wasn't too late. He didn't believe there was a woman in this world he couldn't seduce. A flash of hatred passed through his eyes as he murmured to himself, George, I swore I'd take everything from you. Just wait and see. That night, I couldn't sleep. Wearing a robe, I stood out on the balcony, thinking over everything that had happened lately. I felt more and more exhausted. The cold wind brushed past me, and I shivered. Soon, a cloak fell softly over my shoulders. Before I could turn around, I was already pulled into a warm embrace by the woman behind me. Can't sleep? What are you thinking about? Nothing much, just tired. When I finish up this project, let's go on our honeymoon. I've already booked the tickets. Gratitude surged in my heart. I truly didn't know what I had done to deserve a woman like Willow. Just as I was about to say something, I caught a shadowy figure sneaking near the front gate. I recognized him immediately. It was none other than Michael. What the hell was he doing here at this hour? Michael? That man again. Willow raised an eyebrow. He really is like a ghost that won't leave. Just as she finished speaking, Willow's phone buzzed with a message. Miss Liu, it's Michael. Do you have time to talk? It's about George. Willow's thin lips curved into a faint smile as she read the message. She handed the phone to me. Want to watch a show? I nodded. Sure. I was curious too. What exactly was Michael up to now? Michael paced nervously outside the gate for a long time until finally, someone came and unlocked it. He was led into the main hall, where he immediately saw the woman seated elegantly on the sofa. Her face and figure were top tier, far classier than Eleanor by several leagues. Michael's lips curled into a smirk as he stepped forward. Under the dim lights, he slowly took off his coat, revealing a firm chest and bronze-toned skin underneath. Miss Liu, I wonder, is my brother asleep already? Willow's eyes briefly glinted with coldness at the sight of his exposed body, but Michael didn't notice. Instead, he boldly continued walking closer. He sat down beside her and casually rested his hand on her shoulder. It's such a long, lonely night. Why don't we have a little fun, Miss Liu? Give me a try. I promise I won't be worse than my brother. Take your hand off. Willow's voice was low and ice-cold. The overpowering cologne coming off him was already making her physically uncomfortable. She gave a warning, but he didn't care in the slightest. Don't be like that. You're scaring me, he chuckled. Feel that? My heart is pounding like crazy just for you. He reached for her hand, trying to place it on his chest. Willow gave him a disdainful glance, and he was startled, immediately letting go of her hand. Miss Liu, you're so fierce. Why are you here? What do you really want? What do you think? Michael raised his hand and unbuttoned his pants. I just want to sleep with Miss Liu, that's all. From upstairs, I saw the entire scene unfold. I didn't expect Michael to be this shameless. It was already bad enough that he stole my fiancée. Now he wanted to steal my wife too? What's worse, he had just gotten his marriage certificate with Eleanor earlier that day, and now he was trying to seduce Willow at night. He really is a scumbag who never gives up. If you came here just for this, then get the hell out. Willow stood up to leave, but Michael quickly called out, "Don't go. I really do have something about George to tell you. Don't you want to know how George's parents died?" Hearing that, I clenched the railing in front of me tightly. My parents didn't, they die in a car accident on their way to pick me up? You know, of course I do. I was at the scene. Michael sat comfortably on the couch, speaking slowly. All these years, George never knew the truth. It's really pitiful. How much do you want? I don't want money. I just want you to spend one night with me. Michael reached out and wrapped his arm around Willow's waist. Miss, you rich ladies like keeping men outside, right? I can be your lover. I won't let your men find out. Just one night with me, and I'll tell you everything. You're really naive. As soon as Willow finished speaking, all the lights in the room turned on. A group of bodyguards stepped out from the shadows. Michael growled and scrambled to grab his coat from the floor and put it on. Willow, maybe you should look up at the second floor. Michael panicked and looked up, only to see my face, cold enough to drip ice. George. He never expected Willow to actually resist him. After all, he was good-looking and had a decent body, just a little bit inferior to me, that's all. How did my parents die? I slowly descended the stairs step by step, walking toward him. The icy chill in my eyes was like a sharp arrow, stabbing straight into Michael. I don't know. I was lying. Michael was terrified and began to back away from me. Michael, I'll give you one last chance. Tell me, how did my parents really die? I questioned him harshly. Michael turned to leave, but was immediately blocked by the bodyguards. Willow sat on the couch, her long legs crossed. If you don't make things clear tonight, do you really think you can walk out of this villa? What do you people want? Are you trying to imprison me? I'm warning you, that's illegal. You showed up at my house in the middle of the night with bad intentions. Even if the police come, the one they arrest will be you. Faced with Willow's threat, Michael was scared but still refused to speak. I told you, I was just making it up. Believe it or not, it's up to you. Things have already gone this far. Kill me. Torture me. I don't care anymore. Call Eleanor. Tell her to come get her husband. Soon Eleanor arrived. She stormed in furiously and started yelling at Michael. What the hell are you doing here? Who told you to mess with George? I'm the one being bullied here, and instead of helping me, the first thing you do is scold me for them. Eleanor, are you out of your mind? I haven't even asked you yet. What are you doing here in the middle of the night? Eleanor was absolutely furious, but ever since she stepped into the house, most of her attention had been fixed on George. She missed him so much. He used to follow her everywhere. His presence was once all over the house. But now the house was empty, completely void of him. Is it a crime to have taken the wrong way? Michael wouldn't dare admit that he came here to seduce Willow and failed miserably. He tried to play the player, only to lose everything. Instead, this time, he truly made a fool of himself. Give the surveillance footage to Eleanor, Willow spoke coldly. A servant hurried over and handed the footage to Eleanor. The moment she saw the video, Eleanor's expression changed dramatically. She turned to Michael, eyes wide in disbelief. Do you have no shame? You actually tried to seduce my little aunt, Michael? Are you out of your mind? You're my husband. So what if I'm your husband? Just because I'm your husband doesn't mean I can't look for other women. Don't. Eleanor slapped him hard across the face. Michael's eyes widened in shock, glaring at her. Eleanor, did you just hit me? So what if I did? A filthy excuse for a man like you. I wish I could kill you. Eleanor. Michael completely lost it and grabbed Eleanor by the hair. The two of them started fighting right there and then. Watching the scene unfold, I frowned and looked up at Willow. If they want to fight, let them. My husband and I need to rest. She walked over and wrapped her arms around my waist. My eyes were red with tears. My mom and dad. I know. I'll definitely send someone to investigate. If I find out this has anything to do with Michael, I won't let him off. Thank you, Willow. I nodded. Without Willow, I truly didn't know what I'd do. Eleanor took Michael back home. As she left, she looked longingly at the backs of George and Willow walking upstairs. If she had one more chance, she would love George properly. But sadly, she would never get that chance again. On the way back, Eleanor and Michael started arguing again. Eleanor, I'm not going back with you. Let me out of the car. I want a divorce. You think I want to be married to you? You disgust me. Do you even know that? Eleanor shouted, glancing angrily at the man beside her as she drove. I gave up George and everything the Liu family had just to be with a piece of trash like you. I must have been a complete idiot. Eleanor. Michael hated nothing more than being compared to George. He suddenly grabbed the steering wheel. Let me out. I'm not going back with you. I hate you, Eleanor. I hate you. Are you crazy? Do you want us to die together? The car swerved wildly on the road, nearly crashing into oncoming traffic. Luckily, it was late and not many cars were around. Otherwise, they'd both be dead. Then let's die together. Otherwise, I swear I'll kill you myself. Fine. If you want to die, I'll grant your wish. Eleanor had already lost control, slamming the accelerator and driving straight toward a big tree. In that moment, Michael no longer wanted to die. He hadn't destroyed George yet. He couldn't die now. He wrestled with the steering wheel. No, I don't want to die. The car slammed into an oncoming truck and flipped over violently. Michael felt the world spinning, a wave of pain crashing through him. The next second, everything went black. I didn't sleep all night. My mind was filled with the scene of my parents' death. That year, when I rushed to the scene, I saw my parents trapped in the crushed car, unconscious. I was about to run up and save them. Then the car suddenly exploded, leaving not even their remains behind. All these years, that scene has always been a nightmare to me. I always believed it was just an accident. Knowing I was upset, Willow personally cooked breakfast for me. When I came downstairs, she was wearing an apron, placing a bowl of clay pot porridge on the table. Seeing me come down, she waved at me. George, come have some porridge. For some reason, looking at the woman in front of me, I suddenly wanted to cry. You can cook. I learned from a chef. I know your stomach's not good. How did you know? I was confused. Even Eleanor didn't know about my stomach problems. There's nothing your wife doesn't know in this world. Willow scooped a bowl of porridge for me, but I had no appetite at all. Is that so? I know what you're thinking about. Willow held my hand. You're thinking about your parents' car accident. I've already sent someone to investigate. I believe we'll have results soon. I nodded and forced down a few sips. Sure enough, not long after, the detective Willow had found clues from back then. It turned out that on the day of the accident, my parents were on their way back from picking up Michael. Michael was also at the scene at the time, but he was unharmed and then mysteriously vanished. Mr. Wong, Mrs. Wong, please take a look at this photo. The private detective handed a photo to Willow and me. In the picture, aside from my parents crushed in the car, there was also a small figure standing nearby. He was just a short distance away, coldly watching it all unfold, yet never reacted. There was a timestamp on the photo. It showed that the ambulance didn't arrive for another 30 minutes. In those 30 minutes, no emergency call or cry for help was made. In other words, Michael had intentionally stood there and watched his parents die in front of him. I covered my mouth, eyes gradually turning bloodshot. I couldn't believe it. Michael was barely 10 years old at the time. How could he be so cold-blooded and heartless? There's another photo. It proves that this kid stayed at the scene for a full 20 minutes before leaving. As for where he went after that, no one knows. Where did he go? After the funeral, my grandfather passed away too. Michael wandered around for more than 10 days before finally finding me. Back then, I was still deep in grief. I hadn't even wanted to acknowledge this so-called younger brother. But it was the very thing my parents were doing before their death, so I reluctantly took him in. But how could I have known that the person I brought back would almost destroy my entire life? George. Sensing that my emotions were spiraling, Willow held my shoulders and pulled me into her embrace. It's okay. It's all in the past now. I'm here. I won't let him get away with this. I won't. I turned my head, my eyes bloodshot and burning with hatred. He has to pay for what he did. I want his life in exchange. Seeing how much I was struggling, Willow held me tighter, her voice soft. Okay, George, calm down. Whatever you want to do, I'll help you. I want him in prison. All right. Willow ordered someone to call the police, but before the call could go through, we saw breaking news on the TV. Last night, a car accident occurred on South City Road, involving a black Mercedes and a freight truck. A man and a woman inside the car were found unconscious and rushed to the hospital. The man is in critical condition and remains in a coma, while the woman has only minor injuries. Sources have identified the woman as Eleanor, the illegitimate daughter of the Liu family, and the man as her husband, Michael. Seeing the news, Willow let out a cold chuckle. Looks like karma really never misses. I immediately stood up. I'm going to the hospital. At the hospital, just before reaching the room, I saw Eleanor sitting on the floor at the door. She hadn't changed her clothes, covered in blood from head to toe, looking completely disheveled. When she saw me, her originally dull eyes suddenly lit up. "George, you're here. You knew I was hurt, so you came to see me, didn't you?" She lunged forward and grabbed my hand, but I coldly pulled it away. "I'm here to see Michael, not you." "To see Michael?" Eleanor's face was full of regret. "I'm sorry, George. I didn't know yesterday that he was going to look for little Aunt. Otherwise, I definitely would have stopped him. You know I never wanted you to get hurt. It's all my fault, if it weren't for me." "Enough." The fury in my heart finally exploded. "Eleanor, shut up. Don't think the whole world revolves around you. I don't want to hear another word about you or your problems. I came here today because your husband killed my parents. I won't let him get away with it." "What?" Eleanor had already taken too many blows. She had come to believe Michael was scum, but she hadn't imagined this man could be this horrifying. "How is that possible? The year your parents died, Michael was just a child." "Exactly, just a child. But even as a child, he was that terrifying." "Eleanor, this is the man you loved." I sneered and tried to rush into the room, but was stopped by a doctor. "Sorry, the patient's condition is very dangerous. You can't go in right now. Let go of me." I looked at the man inside, filled with the desire to kill him. In the end, it was Willow who held me back. "He will definitely be punished, George. Calm down. The police will handle everything. I promise you he won't get away with it." "Okay, Willow." I broke down and hugged Willow tightly. I was losing it. I was really losing it. "Don't worry. As long as he wakes up, I'll make sure he spends the rest of his life in prison." Willow took me away, leaving Eleanor standing there alone. Watching George's pained expression felt like a knife slicing into her heart. She turned and looked at Michael, lying on the hospital bed. A strong hatred began to spread from deep within her eyes. Her hand hanging at her side clenched into a fist. Her face turned frighteningly pale. "Doctor, how's my husband doing?" She grabbed the doctor and asked in a gloomy voice. "He's stable for now. As long as he makes it through the night, he should be fine. Miss, you should go home and get some rest, all right?" The doctor left, but she didn't. She stayed in front of the hospital room all night. Early in the morning, two nurses making rounds passed by the door. Seeing Eleanor, one of them couldn't help but comment, "Miss Lou must really love her husband. She stayed here the whole night and didn't leave." "Yeah, I heard she gave up her life as a rich heiress just to be with this guy. There really aren't many women this devoted nowadays. I just wonder if her husband will even wake up." The nurses walked away. Eleanor kept staring at Michael. Suddenly, the man on the bed moved his fingers. Then his eyelids trembled slightly. MMGH. He opened his eyes and saw Eleanor. He wanted to speak, but couldn't get the words out. When she saw that he was awake, Eleanor smiled. "You're awake." "Eleanor, I was really afraid you wouldn't wake up." Eleanor's words made Michael think she was worried about him. "Eleanor, you still care about me? Let's make things right from now on, okay?" He spoke with great difficulty. "I don't feel well. Call the doctor." "Of course I care about you," she said softly. "I was afraid you wouldn't wake up, and then I wouldn't be able to kill you with my own hands." "What?" Michael stared at her in shock. "I really didn't expect it. You even caused George's parents' death. How could you be so terrifying? How could I have fallen for someone as monstrous as you?" She looked at him calmly, then leaned in and gently brushed his hair with her fingers. "Such a handsome face, but inside, you're as venomous and cruel as a viper. Absolutely horrifying. Since I can't do anything for George anymore, I might as well get revenge for him." "No, no, Eleanor, don't." Michael shook his head in panic. "I'm your husband. Didn't you say yesterday you wanted a divorce?" Eleanor's hand moved to the life support machine next to his bed. "Don't worry, after you're dead, I'll make sure you get a proper burial." As soon as she finished speaking, she turned off the machine that was keeping him alive. Due to a lack of oxygen, Michael could barely breathe. Help me." But no matter how loudly he screamed, no one heard him. Very soon, he died in agony. Eleanor turned the machine back on and began crying hysterically. "No, honey, don't die. Michael, wake up." Hearing the commotion from inside the hospital room, the doctors rushed in to resuscitate him. Unfortunately, it was too late. Michael was already completely dead. "We're sorry, Miss Lou. We did our best." Eleanor slid down against the wall and collapsed onto the floor. "How could this happen? How could this happen?" My condolences. The doctor patted her shoulder and ordered someone to record the time of death. After the doctors left, Eleanor returned to a calm state. She took out her phone and called me. George, Michael is dead. What did you say? I gripped my phone tightly, unable to process the words. I hadn't even gotten my revenge. How could Michael die just like that? Don't worry, he died painfully. George, maybe I'll never see you again. I'll miss you. She hung up and left the hospital. She went home, packed her things, and bought the earliest flight ticket, planning to leave the country. But just as she was about to board the plane, a group of police officers suddenly appeared and surrounded her. Eleanor Wong, right? You're under suspicion for involvement in a murder. Come with us. Eleanor tried to resist, but she was quickly subdued and arrested. At the police station, she confessed soon after. That's right, I killed Michael. Eleanor looked up, pleading. Before I'm sentenced, can I ask you for one thing? I want to see George one last time. Seeing her desperate expression, the police called me. Mr. Wong, a woman named Eleanor has been arrested for murder. She's asked to see you. Are you available? At that moment, I was kneeling before my parents' tombstone. I had a feeling what had happened. No wonder Eleanor suddenly called me and said those strange words. So it was her. She had killed Michael with her own hands. At that moment, my heart was completely torn apart. Mr. Wong, are you still there? Tell her I will never see her again. Tell her not to try to contact me ever again. I hung up the phone, and when Eleanor heard my answer, all hope inside her completely died. She was sentenced to death. I looked at the small white daisy swaying in front of the tombstone and the photo of my parents etched into the stone. Softly, I said, Mom, Dad, I might be leaving for a while. So much has happened lately. I'm so tired, really tired. George. Willow walked over, holding a bouquet of lilies, and gently placed them in front of the tombstone. Seeing her, I finally felt a bit better. Wife? I reached out and pulled her into my arms, holding her tightly as if afraid she might disappear the next second. What did you just call me? Willow looked at the man in front of her, momentarily stunned. Wife, I missed you so much. I spoke again, and the woman hugged me tightly in disbelief. George, you finally called me your wife. Silly girl, you've always been my wife. Calling you that is only natural. I let go of Willow and turned to the tombstone to introduce her. Mom, this is my wife, Willow. Don't worry, she treats me really, really well. Mom, Dad, don't worry. George and I will definitely live happily for the rest of our lives. Looking at Willow's serious expression, I couldn't help but laugh. All right, come on, let's go home. Not going home. We're going to the airport. I held her hand and walked out of the cemetery. Willow looked confused. Why the airport? For our honeymoon, of course. I heard that babies conceived during a honeymoon turn out the smartest. I pressed my lips against Willow's earlobe, and what I whispered made her cheeks flush. Who said I was having a baby with you? You don't want one? Then who secretly bought baby-themed stickers and hid them in the drawer? Willow blushed hard. Ah, you saw that. She really did want to have a baby. After all, she wasn't that young anymore, and I'd made a vow. I would love my child with all my heart, and I would never cheat. I wanted my child and my wife to experience the most complete and beautiful love this world had to offer. So, how many kids are you planning to have with me? How many? Dream on, just one. I chuckled. All right, however many you say, that's how many we'll have. As the car started up, I turned to glance one last time at the cemetery. Mom, Dad, I'm going to be happy. I hope you can rest in peace.